My God, I hate drugs.
President Duterte has no problem with Communications Assistant Secretary Mocha Laban refusing to apologize to Kris Aquino. The president said he needs to respect Laban's right to free speech. He said he does not see it as Laban disobeying his orders. Here's the president in his own words.
As I respect the opposition, I must also respect the people in my camp. She has invoked the right of free expression, freedom to express. Once mag-invoke ka ng ganun, wala akong magawa.
President Duterte also confirmed telling Special Assistant to the President Bongo to relay his apologies to Aquino. President Duterte's actions and remarks about women have long been a point of debate. This week, CNN Philippines went on the record with sociologist John Andrew Evangelista, #Babae Ako co-initiator Jean Enriquez, and Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo. At the center of that discussion, a kiss that the president shared with a Filipino woman in South Korea.
The citizens of that place at that time, 2,000 people spoke in approval. The girl herself said, okay.
Does that mean then, Secretary, that I don't have the right to call them out?
Hindi, kaya inaano nga, I'm adapting na nga yung sinasabi mo. Na
so they can speak, I can speak also.
Exactly, ito 2,000 people ang nagsasabing okay. Isa pa, alam mo, naalala ko sinabi ni Dr. Panelo kasi pinag-uusapan namin. You know, my wife is a very conservative woman. Panelo.
Oo.
May
Doktora.
wife. Sabi ko, Mami, ano tingin mo? Tingin ko, di halik apo.
Halika po kanina.
Yeah, halik apo. Sabi niya, parang hinalika. Smack lang nga. Sabi niya, it's just a smack. Sabi niya, hindi ko nga maintindihan, ba't ka nagkakagulo?
Respect women's sexuality, and part of respecting women's sexuality is knowing what they really want. No? And it's not necessarily because I didn't say no. They're part of a crowd that's really cheering on her to do this, what's expected of her and what's demanded of her by the president. So, having said that, this has been happening successively. No? Since the campaign period, there was a rape remark and there was encouragement of rape again in the context of martial law in Mindanao. And
the implication of that action, especially the language that came after it, with Secretary Harry Roque saying that it's accepted in Filipino culture. Of course, binawi niya pero lumabas yun. Ang nagiging implikasyon nun, anong gagawin sa mga babae na nasa ibang bansa? Anong iisipin ng ibang lahi na ay accepted pala ito sa Filipino culture? So it's about responsible speech also eh.
Catch the replays of On the Record tonight at 8 p.m., Saturday at 5:30 p.m., and Sunday at 10 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. only here on CNN Philippines. In other news, the government welcomes the assurance of Slovakia that justice will be secured for a Filipino worker who was slain there. Henry John Acorda died on May 31 from injuries he sustained a few days after he was mauled by a Slovak man. Acorda was trying to stop the man from harassing his fellow Filipino female companion when the incident happened. Acorda works as a financial analyst in Slovakia's capital, Bratislava. CCTV footage shows the man knocked Acorda to the ground and kicked him violently in the head, leaving him unconscious. The suspect is now in custody and has been charged with manslaughter. Philippine Ambassador to Austria, Maria Cleofe Natividad, went to Bratislava on Wednesday to offer condolences to the family of Acorda. Natividad says the embassy will help them in the repatriation of Acorda's remains to Taguig and in hiring lawyers to pursue the case against the assailant. Authorities arrest more than 470 employees, including 8 Israeli operators north of Manila. That's after police discover a multi-million-dollar fraudulent online financial operation at the Clark Special Economic Zone in Pampanga. Our George Cahiles has that story.
Police surprised hundreds of employees at this call center north of Metro Manila as they entered the building to serve a search warrant. Authorities say this is not an ordinary call center, as multi-million-dollar fraudulent online financial transactions happen here every day. Police arrest 8 Israeli nationals allegedly operating the illegal business. And authorities say the business is extensive. 3 buildings occupied at the Clark Freeport Zone in Pampanga. Operations happening for 2.5 years now, with around 1,000 employees. Of that number, police arrest 474 during operations.
Forensic examiners of PNP-ACG were able to extract several digital evidence from all the computers of IBD from the 3 buildings, which proves that it is engaged in a fraudulent online trading activity that involves millions of dollars, victimizing other foreign nationals all over the world.
Their modus: entice investors in fake stocks or Bitcoin, a digital currency. Authorities say daily transactions reach around $1 million.
They invite investors through online. So again, after that, they will get details of your bank accounts, credit cards. Transfer of money will be done through online. They will be the one controlling the transfer of money.
I didn't know what they were doing. They just tricked me into seeing my accounts. Oh, you have 15,000 here. You have 10,000 here. You have 5,000 here. We take all of them.
Some concerned employees informed a number of victims about the illegal activity, and the victims in turn traveled to the country all the way from Australia and South Africa to file complaints with the police.
Total, I lost 450, close to $500,000. And I want my money back. All the money that he took from me, it went to Czechoslovakia, it went to Denmark, it went to Germany, it went to London.
The PNP Anti-Cybercrime Group is now finding out how the Israelis set up shop in a big way in a government-owned property. All arrested operators and employees will face syndicated estafa charges. George Kailes, CNN Philippines.
Should marriage be limited to a man and a woman? The Supreme Court will soon rule on the matter, but without waiting for the landmark decision, a gay couple tried to apply for a marriage license Thursday. How did things turn out? Our Justice correspondent Anjo Alimario tells us what happened.
Michael Jason Masaganda and his partner Lester arrived early at the Marikina Civil Registry Office to apply for a marriage license. They've been together for just a month. For them, it doesn't matter.
Hindi naman yan sa length of time kahit sa mga straight kahit matagal nga, diba, nagkakaiwalay din.
They're hopeful but aware of the reality that they could be rejected. It only took less than 5 minutes for Michael and Lester to face the registry officer.
Sabi ko, we're applying for marriage license. Tinitingnan niya na yung partner ko. Sabi, asan yung babae? Tama nga yung friend ko, yun usually yung tatanungin, yung opposite gender na partner. So sabi ko, siya po, hindi po, wala pa po kasing batas na nag-recognize ng same-sex marriage or equal marriage sa Pilipinas.
Masaganda says they will not be discouraged.
This will be our stepping stone also for filing a petition to the Supreme Court.
In 2015, openly gay lawyer Jesus Falsis filed a petition seeking to declare certain provisions of the Family Code unconstitutional. Falsis argued the 1987 Constitution does not define marriage solely as between man and woman. He added homosexuals are deprived of their right to found a family. Masaganda agrees they have legal basis to demand to be allowed same-sex marriage.
This is a constitutional right and freedom of expression and right to liberty.
Falsis also explained the state's interest is the protection of marriage as the foundation of the family and not the protection of heterosexual relationships. He pointed out homosexuals and same-sex couples do not and cannot harm the institution of marriage.
Niniwala po kami na ang kasal ay karapatang pantao at hindi po ito pribilehiyo na ibinibigay ng Estado o simbahan.
The Office of the Solicitor General, however, argued the question of whether marriage may be entered into by same-sex couples is a policy question. Any change to the concept of marriage, it pointed out, would have to be through a law enacted by Congress. The government's top lawyer also posed legal questions should the court allow same-sex marriage. Who of the two persons in a same-sex marriage would give his or her surname to their child? Who of the two persons in a same-sex marriage would be charged of adultery or of concubinage? On June 19th, the Supreme Court will hear both sides of pro- and anti-same-sex marriage. Michael and Lester say they will both be here to continue their fight. They will not back down, otherwise their dream of getting married in this country will just remain a dream. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
That petition on the same-sex marriage was actually filed in 2015, so it's already 3 years before the Supreme Court set the oral arguments for that. And it looks like it's still going to be a long debate.
Yeah, it's still going to take some time for sure.
Okay, so we'll see what happens.
And we know a lot of Filipinos, majority are Catholics, and the church has been strongly against that. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I don't know. The world is changing, so we never know what's going to happen.
That's right. In the meantime, we bring you more news. Here's the business report.
Good news for Meralco customers. Power rates are lower for the second consecutive month. Power distributor Meralco will be charging around 12 centavos less per kilowatt hour. That means a typical household consuming 200 kilowatt hours a month will get to save 25 pesos. Last May, power rates also went down over a cheaper generation and transmission charges.
Our top stories. President Duterte makes it clear the radical changes he warned about will not involve martial law. Instead, the president said he will soon place agencies prone to corruption directly under his office. Mr. Duterte has yet to say what these agencies are. No emergency measures will be used, but the tough-talking president makes it clear criminals will have it coming. Meantime, presidential spokesperson Harry Roque says Communications Assistant Secretary Mocha Laban continues to enjoy the president's trust. That's amid her quarrel with former TV host Kris. Roque says Laban has not been fired. As for Aquino, she said in a TV interview that she's moving on from the spat. But Aquino, referring to Laban, added, quote, "I don't want to give her any more of my fame."